everyone. Welcome back to another session. I hope you've been having a great time so far. My name is Clarissa Freeman, and I am a Senior Account Manager here at NetBase Quid. And today I'm joined with Tyler Wentworth, the Director of Social Media from Manscaped. Tyler, let's just get started with intros, right? Tell me a little bit about yourself and your role with Manscaped.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first, Clarissa, just want to thank you and the NetBase team for having me today to speak. I've attended this event in the past, obviously in person, and have always found it very valuable and a great networking opportunity. So I'm super stoked to be sharing some of my work with Manscaped. I also want to thank everyone who chose to tune into this session today. I know there's a lot, but I really think you'll find this session just as funny and entertaining as it is valuable to your work. But yeah, I am Director of Social Media at Manscaped. And Manscaped, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is a men's grooming brand specializing in below-the-waist tools, formulations, and accessories to make men feel more confident about themselves, to take care of themselves, and practice great hygiene. Our mission really is to just make men feel their best selves. But like I mentioned, we are focused on below-the-waist grooming, groin grooming. So if the male groin or having funny content or jokes about the male groin makes you a little uncomfortable, this might not be the best session for you. But I promise there's some fun content on the way that will hopefully bring a smile to your face. But yeah, I've been with Manscaped for a little over a year now. And when I joined the team, they really brought me on to sophisticate the social media strategy. Historically, the content could be kind of seen as, a little immature, a little over-sexualized. And they really wanted to elevate the brand and make it more sophisticated and create a lifestyle Manscaped brand. And I've had experience over 5 years prior to Manscaped working at different agencies across lots of different verticals, and had done that in my prior experience and was excited to have a blank slate and channel all of my creative energy into one brand, and especially at a startup, which we know is a very dynamic environment. So it was a great challenge, and I was super stoked to join the team.
Awesome. And I know that part of that challenge, was kind of really creating that strategy and that ideation. I mean, startups, it's a lot of kind of scrappy work that you're doing. So kind of what social media insights did you gather to create your strategy and kind of put together content?
Right. So when I first joined the Manscaped team, I wanted to make sure I had the tools, the analytics, in my arsenal to be able to make the best strategic decisions for how we were going to elevate the brand and drive scale for the business. So I obviously brought NetBase on board, and in the beginning of a startup, you're wearing a lot of different hats. I was helping with email and PR and paid media, and didn't have as much time as I would hope to dive into social listening analytics. So when NetBase launched the AI Studio, I jumped in right away because I felt like it was doing so much of the work, the brunt work for me. It was uncovering those themes in our branded conversations and our industry, and helping me understand what consumers are talking about in conjunction with our brand or our industry. And something I kept seeing pop up in our conversation themes was men seeking help from presumably strangers online of what they should be doing as far as grooming, if they recommend specific tools for grooming, if any guys had recommendations for a hygiene regimen. Men were really seeking input from others and kind of credibility and advocacy from others just in their network or just in the public sphere on social as to how they should groom. So we acted on that pretty quickly. Right after I started, we launched the Manscaped Ballers Facebook group, which is a community of our customers that share grooming tips. They share self-care routines. They obviously talk about the product, but for them, it's so much more. It's much more of a safe space for them to share their experiences, talk about best practices when it comes to their grooming and hygiene routines, and just share funny content amongst each other. Manscaped is a very lighthearted brand in our effort to remove the stigma contributed to talking about below the waist grooming among men. So we definitely take like that humorous approach even in the group itself. And we drive so many of our customers to this group because it is such a fun and dynamic and engaging community. We have over 10,000 members and over half of them are engaged in the group on like a weekly basis. And they're sharing really fun content. I have a few examples here. Bobby said, just finished a serious 6-week workout program. Proud of myself. How about you, ballers? What are you feeling proud of? Or Jeff, who's like, finally shaved this morning. It's been a minute. How often does everyone shave and trim? Besides just having, our customers talk amongst themselves, we also use the group for, voice of the customer research, marketing insights, getting feedback on our advertising. We give the ballers early access to new products before it's even launched to the public. We also give them products that we're testing or thinking about coming out with just to get their thoughts and feedback from our most loyal fan base. So the ballers just over the past year have really become a cornerstone of our social media marketing and a larger valuable piece of our business. And we use them in so many different ways.
And this insight, so the whole point of kind of really creating, or the reason why you had created this Facebook group was really because AI Studios very quickly, as you had mentioned before, you're wearing multiple hats, so a very limited amount of time that can be used kind of doing the deep dive research, was able to self-identify for you in a theme saying, okay, here's what people are talking about. And then that was something that you jumped on, right?
Yeah, like the keywords that AI Studio was pulling out were like recommendation or has anyone tried or Manscaped reviews. Like people had heard about Manscaped and maybe had an influencer or a podcast talk about it, but they were going to these public spaces like Twitter to get that reassurance from their peers or from the public that what they were thinking about doing was the right decision. And they were also not just talking about like the credibility of our products or how well the product has worked for other people. They were asking like, what should I be using as like a moisturizer? Should I be trimming after a shower or before a shower? There were just so many intricate questions that I felt like really deserved an open forum for men to share those insights and those experiences amongst each other in a very brand appropriate way, without just having them reaching out to strangers online. And Manscaped could really control that conversation, be part of it, and obviously create a lot of brand loyalty and advocacy by having them, have that conversation in our branded environment.
Yeah, I think that was a great way to kind of really jump onto, at that time, AI Studio was new and just released, and jumping into that, getting that insight and being able to act on it really quickly, obviously. So I know that Manscaped has also seen a lot of success on social media, especially in the most recent months. Even during the pandemic, you guys have definitely been, for better lack of terms, killing it when it comes to marketing and all of that. So kind of what do you attribute to really that rocket ship growth that you've been seeing since the beginning of the year?
Right. Like I mentioned earlier, Manscaped has always kind of taken a comedic or humorous approach to our marketing and attempts to, talk about a taboo subject of below the waist grooming. So when we were looking at AI Studio, we were constantly seeing terms like hilarious, LMAO, Manscaped social media kills me. Like people loved our comedic approach, and that's how we usually get a lot of people interested in the brand in the first place, is through our comedic integrations, through paid media, through social media, through influencer or podcast partnerships. So something that I felt like really exemplifies our humor in a productive and in a branded way is our TikTok channel. So I created our TikTok channel when I joined the team last fall. And as we know, TikTok has grown so exorbitantly in the past year. And when I first created the TikTok, I was just starting at Manscaped, again, wearing many hats, and really used it at the time as a way to showcase our internal culture, the fun we were having around the office as a startup, showing, some of the faces behind our brand, getting our team members involved. It was really like a team bonding experience. And I had several team members that were willing to jump in front of the camera and do like something funny for our TikTok. And it was getting okay engagement, like 500 to 3,000 views of video, 5 to 10% engagement rate, which, like engagement rate on other platforms is much lower than that. So seeing that kind of engagement start to fester on TikTok was exciting to us. And I thought we were getting a lot of momentum right before the pandemic struck. And then I was forced to work from home in my bedroom. And then it was just me and my camera needing to post TikToks. And I think we went into the pandemic with maybe like 7,000 TikTok followers. So not that big compared to some of our other channels where, you know, we're coming up on 500,000 on Instagram. So I was really strapped for resources and kind of decided, you know what, this is my time to kind of like jump in front of the camera and produce the content myself. So our very first TikTok when we started quarantine was this one. So that video got 8,800 views, which again, compared to our videos that I was just filming at the office, pretty strong for us, and 13% engagement rate. So I think what started to happen when we got into later March and early April is I was the one publishing the content. I wasn't using all the different faces around the Manscaped office, and our community started to get used to me as the Manscaped brand. They got used to my personality and my style of humor. And that's when we started to see even more momentum. So just a few weeks later, I posted this video.
My life is brilliant.
So that video, almost 200,000 views. This is all organic. We're not putting paid dollars behind this. It's essentially free. Manscaped's paying my salary, but I'm just creating this content. And over 21% engagement rate, which was some of the highest engagement I've seen on any social media platform. And that's looking at, you know, the number of likes, comments, and shares as compared to overall views. And then we started to get a lot of Gen Z interest in our brand, which historically we had kind of been a millennial male focused brand and hadn't really permeated the Gen Z market too much yet. And they started asking questions about the brand and becoming familiar with the brand and asking us about products, like in this video.
I can't eat this, but how exciting is it to smell it?
So that video, 128,000 views, which not our best, but also like we're educating people on our product portfolio, telling them we have ball deodorant, we have ball toner spray, and them asking like, what are those things? We don't just, it's not just me posting jokes or funny videos. I am trying to get brand messages across in a comedic way and educate our audience on our product portfolio, on the importance of self-care and on the importance of grooming. And then I think in the summer is when we really started to hit our stride, especially with this next video. So this one, 2.2 million views, our most successful video to date, just us using the trimmer on a hot dog, which was an audience request. The user said, what happens when you try to shave on an actual glizzy? Glizzy our whole team learned this summer. Glizzy means hot dog. Apparently a slang term, happened this summer, blew up. I had to Urban Dictionary it. Did the rest of the routine. But we kind of took this video because of the success, 2.2 million organic video views, and we made it an entire marketing campaign. We had a photographer take a ton of photos of our product with hot dogs. We branded the term Glizzy Groomer. We trademarked the term. And we branded ourselves during the summer as like the official Glizzy Groomer of TikTok. And people thought it was hilarious. It helped with sales. We used this video in TikTok advertising, in Snapchat advertising. Some of our most successful in terms of ROI paid media ads were us using the trimmer on a hot dog, and it all came out of our TikTok. And then we also saw another really successful video a few weeks later, which I'll play now.
What's your talent? Oh, I'm a ventriloquist. What's your talent?
I shave my balls.
Oh, can we see?
No.
That's quite a talent.
So this video, over 2 million views, again, just me showing my personality, but still getting across a brand message that this trimmer is meant for below the waist. We have Manscaped. What has made Manscaped what it is today is because we've defined a market. We've created a market for ourselves of below the waist grooming, which has never existed before in the male grooming space. Obviously, there's a lot of products for female grooming for all different parts of the body, but Manscaped, and the reason it's really seen the scale it has is because of our category defining work and also educating people on why it's important to trim below the waist, and then the fact that there is a trimmer designed just for groin grooming. So summer was great to us on TikTok. I think Gen Z was out of school. They were engaging. They didn't have much to do, but we've still seen success in recent months. A lot of our videos are getting over 50,000, over 100,000 views. This is one of my most recent favorites.
Excuse me, what do you do for a living? I'm a doctor? I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Excuse me, what do you do for a living?
I sell ball trimmers.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So this video was a viral video at the time. A guy going up to different people with luxury cars and asking what they do for a living. Everyone was saying, you know, real estate, private investments. And I commented on the video first. I was just like, haha, me selling ball trimmers, talking about me driving a Toyota Camry. And a ton of people were liking my comment on the video. So later that day, I was like, I'm just going to film something. So I had Tori on my team help me film like my version of the video, and people thought it was hilarious because earlier in the day they had seen that viral video, and then a couple hours later they're seeing my version of it. So it was very top of mind for everyone. But besides that, I pretty much have created the TikTok account to be my personal account. I comment on videos as if I'm like our best influencer. I comment on this video about a chicken nugget pillow saying, if the pillow ain't crispy, I don't want it, and it getting over 50,000 likes. And then people going to our page to see the types of content we publish and having them follow and stay engaged with the brand. Or this TikTok that Pauly D did of him like rapping in his garage. And I said, I hope to one day find a relationship as stable and secure as your hairstyle. Over 40,000 likes on that. So for us, TikTok has been such a huge success for us during the pandemic, specifically because my resources were so constrained. I had to get scrappy, and I just channeled so much of my creative energy into this channel. We've seen over 17 million organic video views, over almost 2 million engagements, likes, comments, and shares. And specifically over 34,000 video shares. So I think that's one way we've really been able to hone in during the pandemic on a channel that was pretty small for us in the beginning, but has become our most engaged social media channel.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it before too, how like I like the one, what was the one that where it went viral in the morning where they were asking, oh, what's your job? And you saw that and you're like, well, let's act upon it. So then it was very top of mind. It seems like a lot of these things, I know TikTok's a very quick platform and things can go viral 1 second, then something else hits off the next. So are you sitting there like looking at TikToks and stuff? So trying to understand, okay, how do I need to place my content, or what should I create?
Right. I think that's a great point, because I feel like to get started on TikTok, and I feel like any brand that targets people less than 40 years old has a place on TikTok. But I think the first place you have to start is creating a TikTok account for your personal self and starting to engage with content and understand the types of jokes that resonate on TikTok, the trending audio, the trending videos, understand what kind of humor TikTok audiences are looking for. And you can't create content that's so broad reaching that it doesn't target a specific segment of TikTok users, because I think TikTok's algorithm tends to be one of the most sophisticated I've seen on a social media platform. They really start to segment their users based off interests and types of videos they watch and engage with. So once you're able to carve out your own kind of like, oh, this is the type of content that I think's funny, these are the jokes that's resonating with them, these are the types of audio that other influencers in this space are using, you can kind of interject yourselves into that community and start replicating content, being original and creating your own content, you know, with a similar comedic style. But I think where we've seen success is me just being active on TikTok myself and loving the platform and understanding what's working there has translated into like our successful brand presence.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously you can't just be on TikTok, right? So you've killed it there. You are now the face of Manscaped. You are stuck working with them forever. So what are some of the other strategies that you've employed to really kind of create this engaged and passionate community?
Right. I think, I mean, in combination with Ballers and TikTok, we've just seen such enthusiasm around the brand, specifically over the past 6 months. Something we kept seeing in AI Studio was people talking about our aggressive advertising or our really specific targeting or retargeting, people wondering why they're constantly getting Manscaped ads, or people talking about how funny or outlandish our commercials are. And we were getting tweets like, half of my life is spent listening to Manscaped ads. I can't escape Manscaped ads no matter what app I'm on. Help, please. I'm convinced that Manscaped's marketing budget accounts for over 90% of the money in all the world. So instead of kind of taking that to heart and being like, you know what, maybe we should push back, which wouldn't necessarily support our business objectives, or instead of getting defensive or, aggressive, we really leaned into it and we started to make fun of ourselves. We know we're heavy advertisers, and that's what makes us unique and makes us fun and makes us a humanized brand, because we understand how you engage with advertising. So, for example, a way we leaned into our outlandish advertising during the pandemic was ESPN came to us with an opportunity to sponsor the American Cornhole League tournament, which was going to be the first live televised sporting event on ESPN since the pandemic had started. This was, I think, like early May. And we said yes. Surprisingly enough, the other main sponsor of the event was Johnsonville Sausages, which was a great brand alignment for us.
Match made in heaven.
Right. So instead of having, just our logo on their court or their field or whatever they play on, we decided to make a whole social media moment out of it. So we created like a meme that said, did we sponsor a live cornhole tournament on ESPN because we thought it would be funny? Yes, we did. And then we made a TikTok about it. We made an Instagram post about it. All of our employees made LinkedIn posts about it, and really made it a larger social moment than just, this one sports marketing opportunity. People know that we're known for these crazy sponsorships, and they love to engage with us when we do something wild like this. Another instance, us putting a billboard in the middle of the ocean in Miami and creating social content out of that. Us clapping back to someone who was wondering why the Padres would put a ball shaving ad on their, outfield wall. These are kinds of things where we're constantly pushing into our advertising and making people know that it's fun and it's outlandish. We just this month are taking over 200 placements in Penn Station in New York City with the same kind of creative advertising and funny marketing messaging that we hope brings a smile to people commuting in New York City right now.
We'll have to see those later too.
Right. I'll also mention one thing we've done to, I think, cultivate a really strong community is asking our audience what our marketing strategy should be. And this is specific to like influencer sponsorships or podcast sponsorships. We're actually asking our community what podcasts we should sponsor, which YouTubers we should sponsor, which TikTokers we should sponsor. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, we do have a really strong influencer and podcast network and constantly are prospecting for new partners that we want to work with. And this is just one way we've been able to get a huge list dump basically of all these people that are interested in working with us. So you can see this tweet here on the right. We're looking for more creators to partner with, big or small, because we do sponsor small creators that we believe their community aligns with ours. And over 7,000 replies to this tweet alone, all organic. And then, a similar one here on the left on Instagram, add a podcast we should sponsor. Over, I think that's 2,800 comments of podcasts. So our teams actually go through these, and they actually have found so many creators that have helped us from an ROI perspective, from a branding perspective. And it's been a great prospecting opportunity. And it's also great, I think, for another way is we're getting these giant podcasters or creators to share our tweet or share our Instagram post and be like, hey, go to the Manscaped thread and tell them that they should work with me. So it's driving organic reach for us as well. Getting these creators that aren't sponsored by us, have no affiliation with us, but they start retweeting us or telling their followers to go to our pages because they might have an opportunity to work with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think everyone would be really jealous of what you've done in such a short time at Manscaped. Any brand, I'm sure, is how do I create this community, right? How do I kind of really go through and I want to say replicate, because every brand's a little bit different, but how can I create such an engaged community to where they're basically giving me what my marketing strategy should be? So what advice do you have towards people out there that are trying to, build their own communities?
Right. When I talk about like how much Manscaped social media has grown, for me, it really stems from the leadership team here at Manscaped and them having, and I don't want to like sound arrogant in the sense of like, oh, I was a good hire, but they have a very thorough and very detailed interview process where they are making sure that they are hiring talent before they start on day one, that they trust their vision, they trust their work, they've shown that they have good experience and tangible experience working on projects like this. So when I started on day one, the Manscaped leadership team basically was like, we trust you, we trust your vision, we know what you do, and we are giving you full creative reign to test and try new types of content that we believe that you think is best. So essentially, like, they gave me full autonomy and trust to create the social media strategy that I felt like was best going to drive our business objectives. So from day one, I've been able to test new types of content, optimize, try new channels out, get as fun and creative as I want, and not necessarily have the constraints that I think everyone experiences if they're working at an agency or even like a corporation or even another startup, where there's a lot of hurdles to come over for approvals or a lot of hurdles to come over for like content production. Like, Manscaped was so scrappy and is still so scrappy in the sense of like, we have those internal resources, we have trust and autonomy to just create cool content. And I think that's been such an integral part of the success, is just having leadership trust. So I would challenge anyone who's maybe struggling to create content they think is going to move the needle for their business or brand, to talk with their leadership about what their hesitations are, what are they seeing that's maybe not giving them full trust in your team. Because social media managers, they have the most experience working on social media. They understand content. They understand how quickly things move on social and how important it is to be nimble. And I think the best social media managers are given that creative reign and that autonomy to just produce. And I would just kind of reiterate that our success is not just in revenue. It's not just in engagement. It's in like our fan enthusiasm. And an example of that is a couple months ago, we had a Manscaped fan account surface, and they've subsequently created like fan accounts on Twitter and TikTok. And it's just like 3 kids, I think, on the East Coast. And I sent them a bunch of product as a thank you, but they created this page themselves, and it's just Manscaped memes, and we've shared them on our stories before, but they're like our biggest advocate. They comment on every one of our Instagram posts. They're the first people to comment. We also had like a guy skydive wearing our underwear, and I made a tweet about it. Unless you're skydiving with just our boxers on, I don't even want to hear how much you love Manscaped. And then we even have things like people creating their own ads for us, even though they're not sponsored. They just want to get our attention, and they create funny videos like this one.
What's wrong?
Who was that other trimmer you were using?
I don't know what you're talking about. Manscaped is the best grooming for men around.
Let me out of the car.
Darling, I can't explain. Where do we lose our way? Girl, it's driving me insane. And I know I just need one more chance to prove my love to you. And if you come back to me, I'll guarantee that I'll never let you go.
So this guy, you can read it in the caption, making a Manscaped ad until they agree to put me in one. Not sponsored, 184 views, not a huge amount of views if you're thinking about like successful UGC, but his enthusiasm for the brand got our attention. We sent him products. We gave him a promo code to share with his friends and family if they wanted to get a discount. And now he's, a brand loyalist and is so involved in our brand. And I think just wrapping this up a little bit more, I feel like I'm so grateful for Manscaped to have this opportunity. I'm so grateful for a team that I've been able to create and work alongside that's really elevated and made our strategy what it is today. And I think there's some really great social insights that led us to this point.
Yeah, and I think, Tyler, everyone can see, obviously, you've done so much in so little time. You've done an amazing job. I mean, to have advocates like this is just mind-blowing because they're doing a lot of the work there for you. So I'm sure what's on everyone's mind right now is, how do they follow you on TikTok? How can they see more of what Manscaped is doing?
Yeah, I'm a huge, well, obviously Manscaped is on basically every social media platform, and we're at Manscaped. I would love it if you guys engage with our TikTok. That's like my baby. And I definitely embarrass myself on there. So if I seemed remotely professional during this, you can really get a glimpse at who I am on there. And I'm also a huge advocate of LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Please add me on LinkedIn. Slide into my DMs if you want a 20% off code. I can give you my friends and family discount code. Great timing for the holidays. Perfect gift. That's my little spiel, though.
Well, Tyler, I want to wrap this up by saying thank you so much for your time. I'm sure this was very useful, insightful to a lot of people that are listening right now. So thank you for taking the time and putting this together and being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you all. And thanks for everyone who tuned in.
Awesome. Guys, that's all we have for this session, but we have a lot more great sessions the rest of the day and tomorrow. So we hope to see you then.